Okay, Datuk, can we begin?
Yes, please. Yes, I'm ready.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and also a very good morning to all attendees here from Zoom and also in our YouTube live. Right, so my name is Afiq Daniel and I will be the moderator for today for our session, which is a special engagement with HR expert. So with us right now, we will have one dedicated speaker, and she will share to us on her experience and also the topic for today, which is becoming future ready leaders. And before we start our sharing session with our speaker, so it is an honor for me to proceed to invite the Director of Organization Development and Management Service Division IIM, Mr. Kamarudin Ali, for him to give his opening remark. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Dear Professor Datuk Nora Abdul Manaf, members of University Top Management, deans, directors, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Executive Director, Management Services Division, IIUM, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to the HR Expert Series 2023, Humanizing the Workplace Towards Organizational Excellence. This event is not just another gathering, it is a platform for transformation and growth, an opportunity to delve into the dynamic realm of human resources and explore how it can truly shape our organizations into centers of excellence. This event promises to be an enlightening and enriching experience, and we are especially privileged to have a distinguished expert in the field of human resources as our speaker today. I'm thrilled to have Professor Datuk Nora Abdul Manaf, the Group Chief Human Capital Officer of MA Bank, as our keynote speaker today. With her extensive expertise and remarkable contributions to the world of human resource, Professor Datuk Nora Abdul Manaf has consistently demonstrated her commitment to driving positive change in the workplace and shaping the future of HR practices. Brothers and sisters, in today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, the role of HR has never been more critical. Our workplaces are evolving and the challenges we face are complex. With the advent of new technologies, the shifting expectations of employees, and the increasing focus on well-being, it is vital that we as universities administrators stay ahead of the curve. The Humanizing the Workplace theme underscores our commitment to creating environments where individuals can thrive and contribute to the success of their organizations. As we all know, the workplace also is not just about numbers and performance metrics. It is about the people. In IIUM, we call them competent leaders who drive the organization forward. Prof. Datuk Nora Abdul Manaf, in her experience, understands this deeply and will share insights and strategies on how to humanize the workplace for organizational excellence. Today's session promises to be a thought-provoking journey through the realms of HR filled with wisdom, best practices, and innovative solutions. We encourage you to engage actively in the discussions, ask questions, and network with your peers as we explore how to create workplaces that inspire, motivate, and excel. The richness of this series lies not only in the wisdom of our speakers, but also in the collective knowledge and experience of all of you. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Over the course of this series, we have gathered some of the most knowledgeable and experienced experts in their field to share their insights and expertise with you. Together, we will explore innovative strategies, best practices, and actionable steps to create workplaces that not only achieve excellence, but also prioritize the well-being of our most valuable asset, our people. We firmly believe that the HR profession plays a vital role in shaping the future of our organizations and our society as a whole. So let's embrace this opportunity to learn, network, and inspire one another. With each session, let's take a step closer to our vision of creating workplaces that are not just excellent, but also genuinely humane. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to the betterment of HR practices, and we look forward to an enlightening and enriching experience throughout the HR Expert Series 2023. Lastly, we extend our heartfelt gratitude again to Professor Datuk Nora Abdul Manaf for sharing her invaluable knowledge with us today. We appreciate her dedication to advancing the field of human resources and look forward to her enlightening presentation. Without further ado, I will pass back to our moderator today to kick off this journey towards humanizing the workplace towards organizational excellence. Thank you and enjoy the series. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamaluddin Ali, the Director of Organizational Development and Management Service Division, MSDIM, for his opening remark. And before I welcome and also introduce to you our speaker for today, and has been mentioned, which is Professor Dr. Nora Manaf, the Group Chief Human Capital Officer of Maybank. I have a few housekeeping announcements to be made. For IIM attendees, which is in the Zoom meeting and also the YouTube live, we have already put in the I attend link for you to check in your attendance, and also at the end of the session, please do fill in the evaluation form so that we can award to you the CTD points, and also knowing the feedback of this talk. And also for all attendees, we will have the session, Q&A session at the end of this session, after we have already I've already made or asked few questions with Dr. Nora. And if you have any question from Zoom and also YouTube live throughout this session, don't wait until the end, just put into in between also is advisable. All right, so before I proceed with this talk, I will just read a bit profile of Professor Dr. Nora Manaf, our speaker for today. So she's Group Chief Capital Officer and also the member of Group at School of Maybank. And also Datuk Nora herself chairs several national level committees and also holds several board membership. And to name some, her board membership include the Board of Etika General Insurance Berhad, and also MBB Lab Private Limited Mangalore, as well as the Board of Trustees of Khazanah Foundation. And Datuk Nora was also appointed to the Malaysian Human Resource Ministers Advisory Group. And recently, in July 2023, Dr. Nora was conferred a honorary degree, Doctor of the University from the Edinburgh Business School of Harriet Ward University, Scotland, and also received a conferment of Master Professional or MP by IHRP in 2022. And she is also a graduate of Advanced Management Program from the Harvard Business School. And Dr. Nora also was appointed in 2022 as an adjunct professor by Pusat Citra University of the National University of Malaysia, and also the adjunct professor appointed by College of Business, University Utara Malaysia, UUM, since 2015. And also in July 2019, Dr. Nora was also appointed into the Board of Advisor of UUM undergraduate programs for the Bachelor of Applied Linguistics and also Business Administration with honors. And just to name some of the recognition obtained by Dr. Nora. She was recognized as a global top 50 human resource professional and was appointed into Talent Compact 4.0 and Industry Talent Advisory Panel of Talent Corporation Malaysia Berhad. And also Dr. Nora is also the president of Maybank Sports Club. I think it's more actually for Dr. Nora contribution to empower the woman empowerment and so on. And this is why we invite Dr. Nora for today. Dr. Nora, Assalamualaikum, Dr. Nora, how are you?
Waalaikumsalam, Afiq. Yes, I was hoping that you will catch your breath.
All right, I was ready for that, Dr. Nora. I see your profile, and yeah, I also adore and admire your expertise, and thank you so much for your willingness to share with us on your experience and also knowledge with our title today, which is Becoming Future Ready Leaders. All right, before that, Prof. Dr. Nora, before I begin with the question, maybe any welcoming remark or anything else you want to introduce yourself and so on? Yeah, please welcome.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Kamaruddin, thank you for your kind words as well. And Afiq, I'm very honored, Afiq. Thank you. Now, yeah, I suppose I just want to, establish a few points before we begin with the Q&A, Afiq, if you don't mind, yeah?
Sure.
Firstly, I'm so happy to hear that there are CPD points for this, yeah? Because you will be, hearing from me, everyone, that the most important to me, to being future ready, and on top of that, future ready leaders, a very, very heavy responsibility. You need to have a learning mindset, right? You have to learn. You have to know context. So, Alhamdulillah, the intent is clearly built within IIUM's infrastructure. So I'm so happy to hear that, number one. Number two, I know that this is about the expertise of human resources, and I'm also very happy to know that that has been established, because HR or human resources or human capital management and development is a professional function. Yeah, it's not one that has no science. So there's science and art within human resource management, and therefore it does require certification and professional merit to practice. Yeah? And however, just like any other management team or leadership team member, that's just your expertise. Okay, what you are is the leader of the institution, whichever institution you are in, and regardless whether it is profit-oriented, non-profit, or educational institution, as long as you're a leader, okay, this is what I'm talking about, right? You are part of the leadership team, and with that responsibility to make sure that the organization and the individual people in it are always future ready. You are not your own discipline only, right? For me, I always say in my, and that's what Afiq was introducing me as, right? Yes, I am the Group Human Capital Chief, right? Or the CHRO, if you like. But I'm always emphasize I'm a member of Group Exco, right? Why? Because we cannot operate in silos, right? I cannot ply my trade, okay, my expertise, without understanding what is the outcome for the institution, okay? And for that, you have to be a team player and member. You bring your expertise, right? But towards the final objective. So I think I thought I would want to establish that right up front, so that everybody's clear when I talk about what we want to do and so forth. It is on this basis. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Dato' Nora, for that welcoming or opening remark on our topic for today, which is becoming future-ready leaders. And this actually have already touched on my first question. Which is what does future-ready leadership means to you, and what is it is important for us, and maybe Dato', you can maybe explain more on that later. And also, I want to include on the our first question, which is what is actually the skills and also the qualities that you believe all future leaders should possess and also should obtain before they become the leaders. Dato'.
Okay. I think, okay, a few things again before I answer that question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I just want to highlight and introduce a bit more about IIUM's relationship with Maybank in that sense.
Yeah.
Because I am currently being paid by Maybank, so
Sure.
sorry, this is bahasa. Must have the brand recognition here. So yes, so everybody here knows, right? There are 664 IIUM graduates employed in Maybank right now. And yes, and they are in all areas, right? In my own team, I have 8, okay? But they are everywhere. They are in our retail banking, they are in our insurance and takaful, in our corporate banking, investment banking, group technology, in Islamic banking, of course, also we have 47, right? In operations, compliance, my goodness, everywhere, yeah? So the important thing about that is the influence, right? So you can imagine the influence is quite significant within Maybank. And IIUM, I hope, is very proud of especially two of your graduates, your alumni, who are at the most senior, well, under Group Exco, yeah, the next level positions, right? One of them is Dato' Hamirullah. Dato' Hamirullah is the Malaysia CEO for retail banking, and Cik Yassin, Mr. Yassin, who is our chief audit executive. Yeah. So from the very senior to the most junior, our most recent intake are 45 IIUM graduates under our entry-level acceleration program. Okay, and Alhamdulillah, right, our acceleration programs for entry-level fresh graduates has produced many fast-tracked management pipeline within a 3-year period. So you can imagine, it's actually very fast, very accelerated. Okay, so those, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I inform. Okay, the other thing that I'm starting to answer, yeah, but I want to link it with what I'm proud of in terms of IIUM's commitment. Yeah, the commitment of knowledge, right? The philosophy of the university. I'm reading the philosophy of the university. Yeah, is based on the belief that knowledge must be pursued as an ibadah, right? And amanah, right? And it is towards, yeah, the preservation and ensuring that we are responsible in executing to achieve, yeah, and ensure that Rabbal Alamin, right, is preserved, right? So these are very, very important. And these, to answer your question, Afi, is what is needed. You know, people have asked me everywhere, Malaysia, New York, London, right, wherever I am. By the way, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be speaking at Oxford University, right? And they always ask me, what skills are needed to be future ready, right? But you know, everybody has whatever you've gone through in terms of your education foundation, right? If with the right values, right, and with the right philosophy, okay, you will know how to utilize your skills to be relevant at that point of time. Now, why do I say this? Because the world is changing, right? In fact, there are evidences that we do not learn. Humans do not learn enough, right? Before COVID, before 2020, okay, it was already, demanded of us if we hold on true to being learners and preserving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's earth, right? We didn't, number one, digitalization prior to COVID, right? Digitalization is a tool. It's a tool for humans, for mankind, right? To be able to, again, not only preserve, but realize the potentials that will preserve the well-being. Now, well-being is important, of humans, mankind, and the world, right? But we were very slow in understanding and utilizing digitalization as a tool. Okay? Now, and then COVID, right? Now, that everybody, I hope you've done your reflection, you've done your learnings, and you've, committed to new convictions. It is a lesson, right? With the pain and the suffering, of course, right? But alhamdulillah, because of that, right? Because of COVID, humans have learned to be more humans again, right? And to learn to respect us, okay? Because one of the theories is zoonotics, right? Because humans have been plundering the natural habitats, right, of animals, then the virus moved from the animals to humans, right? So these are lessons that must be used. And just now I said, we have to transition, right? The world is transitioning. So because of these two, culminating in 2021, humans and industry, right, recommitted to sustainability, right, to ESG. So looking again at how to change what we do so that environment is not, continued to be plundered, right? What can we do? What should we do? Human to human. So that's the S, right? The society, right? We cannot progress and leave people behind. That is the UN SDG principle, right? Everybody must have equal opportunity, because what did we learn from COVID? You and I are connected. Even if we don't know each other, I can pass the virus to you, you can pass the virus to me, right? And I hope we all realize, that we could have been murderers, right? Because in the early days of COVID, people are not vaccinated, right? Those who are already have respiratory illness and all that, right? Comorbid, it's called comorbid, right? If I pass to the person and the person is fatal, right? You see the connection, right? So it's very, very grave. And these two are the latest, right, to be introduced to humans and humankind to rethink how we're doing things. So, what am I saying here? The most important thing, I come back to the point that I said just now, is learning, is a learning mindset, right? But okay, then what to do with the learning, right? If I use future ready leaders as, again, the context. Number one, sustainable organizational performance, right? To deliver sustainable organization performance. Now, I mentioned that all the organizations and all are transitioning because of those two. And it's not just profit entities, but also educational institutions needs to change, right? Every entity needs to change. Non-profits needs to change and find the new sustainable model moving forward. So the world is really, really in a chaos right now. For those who can see the chaos. Okay. Now, for business, as an example, leaders in business right now has to do two things, and that's like Superman, Superwoman. Right? Number one, perform. Number two, transform. Okay, you have to do that together, right? I and the other leaders, we don't have the luxury to say, okay, let's transform, and then we look at how to perform, right? We can't. We have shareholders, right? Maybank, for example, the majority of the shareholders are citizens of Malaysia, right? We are responsible to ensure that we preserve their wealth, right? And that they have financial well-being. So we have to make sure that we are profitable short-term. Profit is short-term, 12-month horizon. But at the same time, I said just now, our operational model has to change from all that lesson. Now, let me do a quick digression. I will cover the rest, right? Here, the example. Let me give you a real example of what is it when I say, we must change our operational model. Now, banks everywhere, right? Not just Maybank, everywhere in the world, okay? What do you do? I mean, you are customers of banks, right? When you take a car loan, let's say. Now, you apply, there is assessment, and then we approve. Yeah, the money is disbursed to you, you buy the car, then you start repaying. Correct now, right? Now, if you don't pay, right, you will get calls, okay, to remind you to pay. Now, by the second month, you will be blacklisted if you don't pay. And then you will be declared bankrupt. Okay? And then the car is repossessed. Now, a quick case study here. We are doing case study here. Okay? All these processes that I mentioned just now, after disbursing, okay, are cost. They are all cost to the bank. Right? We have to employ people to call. That is cost. Right? We have to repossess the car. We pay the repossessors. Right? And the car, once we repossess, needs to be stored. We pay storage. Okay? And that is automatic. It's an automatic process. Now, banks need to rethink, is this the right way? These are all costs, number one. Number two, is it humanizing? Because it's automatic, remember I said? Banks do not check to see what is your problem. Okay? So let's say Ahmad, right? No, the bank, when they call, pay Ahmad, yeah? It doesn't say, what is your problem, Ahmad? Can we help you, Ahmad? Right? There's no such thing right now. So that's a simple example of an operational model. Because we found a real case. This is a case study we call Dino Lemang. Her name is Dino. She sells lemang for a living. Lemang is glutinous rice. I know there are international people in the audience, right? It's glutinous rice in a bamboo. It's a delicacy, right? Now, she's not rich. She lives in Malacca. She sells the lemang outside her house in a makeshift tent by the roadside. That's her marketing strategy. Okay? And that's her advertisement. So she needs people to pass, right? To get attracted by the billboard, which is actually her product. And they buy. But when we have the lockdown, the MCO, right? There's no traffic. There's no footfall. So there is no customer. She can't sell. And she has to be locked in. So is she a bad person? Why would we make her bankrupt? Isn't it? Why would we repossess her car? It's an old car anyway. She needs the car to bring her elderly parent for dialysis and so forth. Now, what two of our staff did is outside our SOP, right? And in fact, in banks especially, if you do not do what the SOP demands, then you are non-compliant. So when I talk about this case study in Maybank, I want everybody to use your context. This is not alien. This is not somebody else's problem. Because you have a similar process, I am very, very sure. Okay? Now, so come back here, right? If we just let it straight through, we will do injustice to Dino. She's not a bad person. She's not a lazy person. She's not a convict, right? She's not a criminal. Why would we want to blacklist her and declare her bankrupt, right? So our two staff, non-compliant of SOP, visited her, okay? Looked at her issue, digitalization. Therefore, remember I mentioned just now, digitalization is a tool. So what did they do? They said, Dino, you have a problem, don't you? Let's see how we can help you. Put her business onto our digital marketplace. Remember, we all cannot go out, but we have access to internet, right? So the digital marketplace in Maybank is called Sama-Sama Local, okay? Now, when it went onto the digital platform, within a few days, she received orders, right? And 3 years after that, today, her business is still flourishing. She has customers from all over. Prior to COVID, it's only the people who pass her house, right? In KL now, she has regular customers. I'm one of them. So she sends her lemang once a week to KL. So what have we done? What has the two Maybankers done, right? This is a sustainable model. Go check and not just straight through, right? If you're a convict, yes, that's what we do, yeah? Declare you a bankrupt. But if you are a genuine person needing support, that is what humanizing management is all about. Responsible leaders do not just take the easy way out. It is easier to just go through with a straight through process, right? So this is advisory. This is advice towards financial well-being. Now, please remember here, I said perform, transform. It's not charity. In the Dino Lemang case study, it's not charity. We want just to make sure that she can land on her feet and be independent financially so that she can be a profitable customer. She can do her repayments. But it is also preserving dignity. That's the S in the ESG. And there's also the G here, yeah? The SOP and all is G, is the governance. Huh? Now, we gave her dignity. She does not need charity. She's not asking for charity. She's asking for access. She's just asking for access to be able to be independent financially and get on with her life, isn't it? So the transformation is for the well-being of everybody, not to take advantage of anybody or at the expense of any stakeholder. So only one point, Afiq, right? And yet, it is so heavy. It is a lot of work to be done. It takes a lot of passion and commitment of leaders to do, which is why the learning mindset. I hope you've thought, everyone, you've thought of one or two processes in your life, yeah? Either you're responsible for it, or even if you're not, you're part of the process, right? Where you should be thinking already, yeah, why is the process that way? Okay, now that is the transition leader in the G, in the ESG. G is governance again, right? Corporate governance, institution governance, right? These are very simple things which is very, very powerful. Okay, so the second one, so learning. The second one is knowing how to take risk. Okay. Because you cannot be a leader if you don't take risks. Just to change that process just now, you take risks. Like I mentioned just now, it can be somebody coming down on you to say, this is non-compliance. This is an audit issue. Right? So you act to change that. You have to have courage, boldness, and you must know how to take risks, right? So enabling growth through risk-taking and innovation. Yeah, that is a very, very important skill. And remember, everything that you learn in university, you have to apply to be able to know how to take risks, isn't it? Now, and that's why it's very important to understand, please, right? It's not about what you know only, because the learning is now. You can be learning and you're such a powerhouse of information and knowledge, but you don't do good with it. Right? That is not what we want, right? How can you preserve Rabbul Alameen? Isn't it? Right? If you don't apply your knowledge, right? So that's the other one. Risk. Knowing how to take risks for innovation. Now the third is knowing how to balance the counter forces. MashaAllah, right? Now, I mean, it's very, very sad, right? All these killings and everything everywhere, right? But these are important geopolitical aspects, right? As the world transitions. Now remember that there are parts of the world that's richer in natural resources, right? And so the source of food, okay? People will be at war for these fertile places, right? So knowing how to balance the counter forces of globalization and localization with a future focus, wow, these are what, future ready leaders need to be able to process, right? Process and then try. Now, I hope everybody's heard of the agile methodology. Now, that's very important because we don't have much time, right? If we don't learn and apply now some tests, some MVPs, minimum viable products, right? There's also virus, X and all that coming, yeah? So we have to be very, very careful, right? So we don't have time. So try, yeah? Try different models, learn. These are all culture changes, behavior changes, because there is a tendency. Now remember, future ready, and I quickly digress to a McKinsey finding, less than 7%, they're finding, okay? Globally, less than 7% of organizations are actually future ready. Okay. So it's really, really hard, yeah. And so making sure that all this can be translated requires everyone to accept and learn how to accept making mistakes. It's easier said than done. If somebody makes a mistake today, that means 93%, yeah, because there's no 7%, 93% will jump and hang the person. Okay, all right, and say the person is bad, right? How can you make the mistake? So then the person will not try, right? So having the courage to and boldness and knowing how to take risks for change and innovation, okay, cannot happen if the ecosystem is not receptive to learning. Learning means you must fail sometimes, right? But you must not fail, too expensively, and that's why the MVP approach is important. Just small tests, right? So that you can move forward. Now, and so finally, I think it's really about understanding how to use tools, right? And these are all gifts, right, from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Why is it that you don't want to use the tool? You have to learn. We have to learn to be responsible in using the tools. Yes, but if you don't use the tool, then you are not responsible, isn't it? So digitalization, automation, AI, regenerative AI, yeah, those are tools. We must use them, right? But use them responsibly, and with the right balance. Okay, maybe I pause there, Afiq.
Right, thank you so much, Dato', with precise and concise actually points about what is the skills to be possessed in the future leaders. I think Prof has shared three, which is the learning mindset, the balance, knowing how to take risks, and then balance for the counter forces. And actually, I really like what Prof Nora Dato' Nora have already said about humanizing how our job scope and also how we work. And is very honored at the early of the session that Nora have already said over 500 alumni of IAM was already employed by Maybank. Thank you so much, Dato' Nora. We honored to that. And also just to be shared, actually I also be part of the GMAT program previously, when I graduated from IIUM. Yeah, so it was a good experience actually from Maybank to have those programs for the graduates of the university, especially IIM staff.
No wonder, Afiq, no wonder I can see the values in the brain.
Yeah, so it's actually an honor because I already make a short list to the GMAT, the final stage. So it was a wonderful experience with my bank actually at that time, Dato'. All right, Dato', so we proceed with our next question. So, Dato', you already mentioned about pre-COVID and also post-COVID times and also like that. Right? So there are many changes on how we process our skills and also how do we adapt to things. So actually, how that can the future leaders stay adaptable and open to change during this uncertain time, or we call it as the post-COVID, and maybe in the future there's many terms that will come out. Yeah.
Well, you see, just now I mentioned about the learning mindset, but secondly, and these are all reflective of what we have today. So to your question, for me, the most powerful right now, right, is having the right support system. Okay? And the right support system is reflected by the powers that we all have, humans have, via the products that have come out because of the internet, right? So number one, tools like WhatsApp, social media, if we use them rightly, they are very powerful support systems, isn't it? You and I, we are never alone today as long as we have the gadget, right? And the gadget is very affordable, the smartphone. Everybody knows, right? I don't know about the latest statistics because I've not seen one released, but the most recent statistics, like 4 or 5 years already ago, is that number one, most humans have more than one phone, and number two, right, most humans in this world, okay, have access to phones more than a clean toilet. Okay. So you can imagine the power of the tool, right? So what I mean that is when I say we're not alone, right? The minute you feel like you want to know whether there are people who will listen to you and give you support or give you ideas, you don't need even to have your physical network. Of course, physical network is important, right? Your friends, make sure you have very good physical support system, including your professors and so forth. But you can actually just go to strangers to that, right? Correct or not, right? If you tweet something, and you ask, what do you think? My goodness. Of course, that's a skill. You must learn what word to use, right? But you will catch the attention of millions of people, and they are all over the world, right? Because if you say, what about even a simple question, do you like pink? Okay, I bet you, right? There will be people who will answer you, yes, I love pink because da, da, da. And then it just takes a life of its own in terms of the conversation. That's what I mean by support system, because you are never alone. Now, so you will then draw courage, right? And if you're responsible, remember I said, because you're learning mindset, you've got your filters, you've got your values, you know which are rubbish and which are not rubbish. Number one, right? Number two, then you will learn, you will get from the non-rubbish, the positive inputs and comments. There's a lot to be learned there. But thirdly, again that you're not alone. My goodness, right? Okay, fine. About 50% of the people who responded to me would support me. Then you've already done your focus group. No need to do focus group, right? You already can report back to your professors, and say, yeah, I can take that as a proxy that probably any group that I approach in terms of this idea that I've got, about 50% proxy will support the idea. There you go, right? So, you know, those are very important things that people must be open to think about, right? Okay, Afif?
Okay, thank you so much for the answer, Datuk. So having a good support system is actually very helpful for us to get the leaders actually stay adaptable for the uncertain times and so on. And as have been mentioned, it's not just in our circle, but also we can try to search at in the social media as for now, right? And you have mentioned just now on the phone usage actually based on the MCMC survey. There are things that 94.8% of Malaysians have their own smartphone actually, Donora. Yeah, this on 2021 itself. So maybe right now maybe there is higher than that on the statistic and so on. All right. Yeah, so moving on, Datuk. So we are having have talked about the balance on counter forces and also how to balance the goals, right? So how can this actually the timeless leaders balance between the short-term goals and also the long-term vision and also planning for them to be ready on this skill to become a future leader?
Well, I'm going to give you real examples, everyone, because I think that is how I can probably, inshallah, add value. Because what you learn and what you can Google or ask ChatGPT, those are available to you. So let me give you an example, right, of how we have approached it. When I first joined Maybank, 2009, I looked at the data. So again, everybody use data. Looked at the data, and what the data tells me is, right, Maybank staff, Maybank talents are highly, highly trained. So I've got the data, right? Very skilled, very certified. Okay. And another set of data tells me they are very loyal, they're very compliant, right? If the boss says move, they will move. Okay. Now, multinationals. Remember, I was with multinationals prior. I was with Intel, I was Chartered, right? Multinationals would kill for, right, this kind of talents. Then I saw another set of data. That set of data tells me that these talents, however, are underpaid. Their pay is below market, okay? Which is why I knew that, because prior to Maybank, I was with Standard Chartered Bank, right? It was very easy for us to target and hire someone from Maybank, right? Very easy, because easily we can even double the pay, okay? Now, organizations will pay when they need talents, right? There you go. So I went to our group board and said, I want to increase staff cost. Okay. Now I'll tell you why I'm telling you this example later in answering your question. So I said, number one, I will increase staff cost. I'm sorry. You can fire me if you don't like the message. But I said, we are sitting ducks. We are not only is Maybank a pool of talents, ready for others to just hire, but number two, we are irresponsible. We are not very human, right? Because we are not paying them right. Okay? Now, I'm a chartered accountant by trade before I practice human resources, right? So I've done my maths, okay? So that I said to the board. However, you can assess us, the leadership, right? Not only via the increase of staff costs, but increase in revenue per staff. right? Increase in PBT for staff costs. Because that is responsible. That ensures the staff, right, is paid rightly and good financial well-being. But the company is also, the organization is also going to have better financial well-being, right? Now, because the board are business people, they understand, right? It's not rocket science, right? They say, okay, fine, deal, okay, make sure you deliver. And we did, alhamdulillah, right? Now, I said 2009, and it doesn't take a long time. Future ready leaders, remember I said just now, you have to be quick, right? And this was 2009. 2010, alhamdulillah, Maybank reached, never ever, PBT 1 billion USD. Billion, right? First time in 50 years. And after that, we double, triple. So that is performance transfer. That is a real example of performance. Okay? You can still perform within a 12, 18-month horizon, but not at the expense of transforming, right? If it was either or, then I come in and I say, oh, I'm scared. I'm scared to do the transformation. I just make sure perform, right? But it is irresponsible, because then, together with the leaders, of course, not just me alone, Maybank would not have broken the threshold of 1 billion. Remember, I said 50 years before, never ever. So we would have remained where we were. Safe, play safe, okay? That would be detrimental. It could be a Kodak history, right? Kodak story, because then you are overtaken. In fact, at that time, Public Bank overtook us for a while before 2010. So it's not that we cannot be overtaken. So those are what people need to do, leaders need to do, Afi. It takes courage. It takes a lot of courage, okay? And a lot of dua, of course, right? But you have to. That's why you are given the title of a leader, right? You cannot play not to lose as a leader. You must play to win, and not to win alone. You have to win together, right? With society, with everybody. Okay, Afi?
All right, Dato', thank you so much for the sharing. So I am actually interested to know that and to learn how we can balance the goals and planning using the data, and also the most important thing is through the courage actually exercised by the individuals or also the future leaders. And before I proceed to the next question, just to be reminded to all participants in the Zoom meeting and also the YouTube live, you can ask your questions to Dato' Nora in the chat section, and don't forget to key in or sign in into your I-attend. Also do share your evaluation through the evaluation link that will be given in the comment section at the end of the session for today. All right, okay, Dato', so we going to the next question. So actually, it is actually related to the second question I've already asked. What role does actually ethical leadership play in preparing for the future leaders actually?
Yeah, okay. So on top of everything else that we talked about, Afi, right? You hear a lot now about upskilling, right? It is a responsibility of the leader to make sure part of being future ready is to have the right skills, right? So it is true that many tasks and many jobs will be gone, right? But net, there will be increase of jobs, just not the same jobs, okay? So simple example is accountants, right? And I can say that because I'm a chartered accountant by training, right? Producing financial statements is no longer a human's job. No need, because artificial intelligence can do it. So if you insist on the whole ecosystem, the training is how to produce financial statements. The people also, all they want to do is produce financial statements, right? And you go into the supposed workforce thinking, I want to get a job to do financial statements. Then you are going to be irrelevant. The whole chain, irresponsible, right? So you have to teach humans how to use AI to produce the financial statements so that you can read the data sets, just like I was saying just now, right? And make decisions in terms of the data sets. How can it improve the well-being? That is a human job at the higher level of analytics, right? Of intelligence. Okay? Because artificial intelligence is based on human intelligence. Whatever we feed, right? Okay, regenerative AI maybe is advancing, but it's not fast enough. Okay? It will be fast if humans don't move, lah. Right? So if humans are stubborn and just remain where we are, then of course they will overtake, right? The thinkers and whoever's doing the codes and so forth, right? We cannot hold them back. We shouldn't, right? We cannot say, okay, stop the internet, right? Then we are being very irresponsible because that is ilmu, right? Now, so it is important in terms of upskilling. So leaders, you must be leaders of humans, okay? Making sure that we advance together, right? And so to be able to advance together is the conversation that we've had just now. Must know context, must know what's happening. And so learn how to bridge it, right? And be nimble, right? You cannot insist that because this is what I have to do, this is all I will do. Now, as educators also, then it will become very irresponsible, like I said just now, right? Then you produce people who don't know how to apply, right? What they learn. And then you are therefore contributing. We are therefore contributing to people who will not have financial well-being, right? Now, I chose not to say do not have jobs. I said do not have financial well-being because that is also an advancement of future leaders' ecosystem, that people will have different ways of earning, right? Not necessarily a job as it is defined today and in the past. Okay, so reskilling, making sure that you are making everybody not lose out, right? Don't leave anybody behind. The other one is always be driven by doing good. Please do good. That is humanizing. Okay, so whatever solution and so forth, if we all are guided by doing good, then we are definitely going to, inshallah, future ready, right? And finally is making the organization human. Then you will say, of course what? No, it's not. Remember I said just now, right? We need to examine every SOP, every policy, every standard that we have today, that we use for operations, every institution, because there will always be the Dino Lemang process, right? The automatic process, right? That people will do robotically. That is not making the organization human. Making the organization human using the tools that we have today is to simplify, liberate, right? So very quickly, I'm going to move to give real examples. So in an organization, like business, right? In a business, these are what's happening. Yeah, roles I said will be eliminated. Yeah, and functions. Okay, new tasks moving to a functional design. Because remember again, the old hierarchy organization structure creates silo mentality. Okay, and industry and the wisest minds in the world have not been able to find a solution to break silo mentality. I can say that for sure. Okay, because I've been to Harvard, Oxford, everywhere else, right? I don't see the solution. So just move. We don't have time to think about again how to break silos. No need. All right? Because the brightest minds have tried. The people with the best intentions have tried. Humans are humans. You group us this way, we will be this way. All right? We will have this loyalty, right? You open us up, then we will work together. So functional design. Now, before is as recent as 2020, everybody's still talking about flatten the organization, flatten the organization. Now that one is outdated, everyone. And people are still struggling to get to flattening the organization. So skip that step. Today, it's create end-to-end agile teams. End-to-end agile teams, functional design, using their skills. That's it. Pay for skills. It's no longer in the past, just pay for performance. Performance is a given. We pay for skills. We don't pay for grade. So people always say, oh, I want to have this grade. I want to have a higher grade. Okay? That has always caused a problem. Because good people, highly skilled people, they are all suppressed. Because there's only X number of positions in this grade, X number, Y number of positions in that grade. So I have to wait 20 years until that one retire. Okay? So now pay for skills. I have the skills, I have the capability, I can deliver, I'm paid, for my contribution. The other one is matrix structure. Oh my goodness, right? For the longest time, there's a multi-billion dollar industry out there. There are many, many consulting firms, training firms, teaching people how to operate in a matrix organization. No need lah already, okay? Because it's just too late already. Everybody's moving to a network design, ecosystem design, right? Network, real networks. That's it. Not even matrix, right? Because matrix, there's some rules, some guidelines in terms of, maximum number of matrix managers. This one, network, means you are a network, right? There's multiple points that I'm connected to. So it's a very, very different world today. And then, of course, the tension when multinationals, there's the HQ, there's local, there's regional. Again, no more. That causes a lot of problems. People who have worked in multinationals know this, right? It is a horrendous, right? It is actually a non-productive but important thing that people do in multinationals. Important because to survive. So now it's forming, like I said, flow to work teams. Flow to work teams. That's it. Yeah. As long as the flow to work is there, we don't really care, right? Because we are now remote and hybrid, right? It doesn't matter whether you're in a different country or a different state, right? You are part of that flow. So all these that I mentioned are very, very new. And remember I said just now, I only use 2020 versus now. That means from 2020 and several decades, as in IR 2.0, IR 3.0, you can imagine, yeah, has been a struggle to get to the 2020 model. So it's no longer relevant, Afid.
I see. Thank you so much for the sharing just now, Datuk, for the how to make an ethical leadership plays in preparing for the future. I like what has been highlighted by Datuk just now, which is the upskilling or reskilling. Is actually also part of the initiative by the Management Service Division (MSD) towards all our staff for the talent development unit. Also, Datuk, and also for information, humanizing, as you have mentioned just now, is also in one of our strategic direction with as us as a educational institution. We are humanizing education through the Maqasid Syariah and also the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. All right. So with that, Datuk, I preserve my question a bit, Datuk, so we can just try to look into the questions from the audience, right? So maybe for the audience who have want to share their insights or their questions want to inquire to Dato', you can put into the chat box at the Zoom and also the YouTube live. Right, so we have two questions here, Dato', from the audience, which is from Izzat Sufyan. So I read out to you. Wassalam, Dato' Nora. Good morning. Thank you for your time on sharing your expertise for us. I am community. Referring to our topic today, when we talk about the future ready, we can't escape the importance of grooming the youth. Okay, this question, looking into recent success of Maybank Gen M Global Summit 2023, or it is updating about Maybank, how exactly Maybank decided to empower the youth? So this first question, maybe you can try to answer first.
Who asked it? Is it Juaini?
No, Izzat Sufyan.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Izzat.
Okay. Now, thank you. Is this Dr. Izzat? I think it's Dr. Izzat. Thank you for the question. That's a very powerful question, because people talk only about the power of youth and how important youth are. Now, likewise, in Maybank, and by design as well, okay, we work hard towards the transformation from youth only making up about 15% of the population back in 2009, 2008. Today, youth are 52% of the population. So already more than half, right? Now, that is, like I said, by design. But remember, before I go back to youth, we are diversity and inclusivity. We're believers of diversity and inclusivity, right? So whilst we have that emphasis, we also have created Maybanker X with a big X. Now, what does that mean? Retirees. Maybank retirees continue to be part of our network, right? They continue to be gig workforce when we need to have skilled, right, resources and talents to help us. So what I'm saying is everybody is included. Now, coming back to youth, because they are people who are naturally comfortable to exist in the current different world, right? They have to come forward, okay, to help shape the solutions for today and the future, right? If we continue to suppress them and say, oh, you are junior, you are below, right? So, you have to wait your time. Oh my goodness, right? It's going to be another decade if you are lucky, otherwise you may be out of business already, right? So we, by design, make sure that they have voice. Okay, number one. Number two, that they can do what they think is important to do. So having M Youth and Gen M officially recognized, okay, and we communicate widely that it is sponsored by the president and myself, okay, that gives permission. Because in organizations, you also need to give permission, okay? So people cannot say, what do you know, right? And what authority do you have? Right? So it's clear to everyone they are sponsored by the president. Therefore, they have license, okay, to do what they need to be done. And then we step back, okay. For example, the finale that Dr. Izzat attended as well, right? And he brought a busload of students. Thank you, right? Because we want to influence our network, our ecosystem. So they did it themselves. Set parameters. Future ready leaders, you set parameters and you liberate. Versus the old definition of governance. You have to govern. You have to make sure there's control, right? That is the wrong way to govern today, right? You set clear parameters, you step back, and of course you watch and monitor actively. But you do not stop them. Because remember, for us, for the older generation, okay, we have our ideas of what and how to do things. but we will be imposing, right? I cannot ask you, Afiq, to say, draw a house, Afiq. And then even before you start, I take your pen from you, okay? And I say, no, it should be this way, all right? Then, you do a few more strokes. I say, no, it should be this way, right? So the final product is not yours, isn't it, right? It is actually mine, right? So even if you had ideas, you can't really influence your end product. So I have to have discipline. I have to tell you, I want you to build a house. A house provides shelter. It must be solid. So I give you what you need to, meet in terms of the criteria, and then I leave you be, right? So we have been very pleasantly surprised, alhamdulillah. With that, right, I have been, I have lots of programs that were designed and executed, impact driven, right, by the youth. Now, we also live equal opportunity, as I mentioned. Never before has a 35-year-old, a 32-year-old reached top management. Today we do. Yeah, we have early 30s who are in the top 3 grades of Maybank Group. That is very, very senior. Okay, that is senior EVP level. And we have early 30s. But of course, we also have 60, 62, 63-year-olds. Yeah, that is inclusivity. So, Dr. Izzat, thank you for that question. That's how we do it. We get them involved. We are clear in the common purpose, in the common beliefs and common values and intentions. And everybody then has a role to play and support each other. I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? We support each other, not watch and say, I'll see when Afiq does a mistake, right? To prove that I'm the one who's cleverer. Okay? Now that one from the beginning is going to lose, right? It's going to fail.
Thanks, Dato', for the explanation on the Maybank JM Global Summit, the youth empowerment, and interested the point that you said Dato' Maybank itself giving the autonomy to the youth itself to provide their ideas with the guidelines by the seniors and also the expertise from the Maybank itself. All right, and further question from him actually. Here the second one is, in addition, the recent establishment of M Youth Council has highlighted Maybank movement on really emphasizing the importance of youth in organization and putting IIM has 2 types of youth, which is the students and also employees like me. What is your opinion on how exactly IIM can really embracing and realize the importance of youth in nurturing the future leaders? Yeah.
Okay. I suppose my short answer, since we don't have that much time, my short answer is use data, right? Look at the data for a start, right? And see what's the composition of youth in every, group in the organization, in IIUM organization, right? Like I mentioned just now, right? Even by levels, right? The more senior, what's the youngest age, right? What's the elders, what's the other diversity as well, right? And start from that, okay? Otherwise, it becomes very theoretical, right? So with that sets of data, match it to the ultimate objective, right? Again, of the philosophy, right? Of IIUM, right? Here it says the garden of knowledge and virtue, right? To deliver quality tertiary education and accomplished professionals. So those, that's the driver, that's the intent, right? So if this set, because data also will tell you whether it's successful or not, right? In my role, right, within the board of trustees of Yayasan Khazanah, right, the Khazanah Foundation, I asked the same questions, right? I said, our responsibility to the country is not just to give scholarship, right? Is to know whether the people that we give scholarship, right, are influencing the betterment of the country, right? So yeah, so must follow through and use data and then come up with a plan. So go back to purpose, go back to what IUM is supposed to deliver.
Thank you so much, Dok, for your insights on how to actually embrace the youth empowerment here in IIM. So maybe they might give some ideas for us, the employees of this institution, and also the audience today. So on how to try to develop and also to bond more leaders here in IIM. Right. So we have one more question from the audience, which is from Sister Nurul Ashikin. Right. So, okay. So from Sister Nurul Ashikin, say from your point of view, Datuk, in embracing the idea of becoming a future leader, how can universities equip the staff with the necessary mindset and also the knowledge to both support their company goals and also to uphold the ESG or SDG principles, fostering a shift away from nepotism and encouraging accountability and responsibility in the decision making? Okay.
Well, firstly, Nurul Ashikin, well done in crafting the question, which has so many facets, though. Okay.
Yeah.
And it will require us to have a conversation until tomorrow, Okay. But okay, I mean, Nurul, yeah, I mean, I can see the driver to the question, and I think it's a very good one, so well done. Okay. But it does take everything that we spoke about just now, right? And putting it all together. We, I suppose, need to learn new ways, right? And hence be this, like I mentioned just now, the support system to each other. Let me give you the example, Nurul and everyone, right? Just the lesson that we learned from COVID on being locked in, right? We should know by now, right? And by the way, Satya Nadella, remember, mentioned that humans, wow, you guys have now become more advanced in understanding how to use technology, right? The equivalent of 2 years being locked down for 2 months. Okay, so that's a very important facet. Now, so that's just one of the things that we learn. The other is the fact that, MBO, management by objective, right? Again, has been century old, right? Multiple decades old, right? But people don't really practice that, right? Because you don't set the clear objective. Just like I mentioned about Afiq and I trying to produce a house, right? And then you create different ways to govern, supposedly control, right? Because let's say Afiq is not drawing the house properly, but actually it's because you're not clear in terms of what is the thing that's supposed to be produced. So people are stubborn. That's why we needed all those lessons with COVID and all. So the one example I was going to say is related to MBO, right? Do not be paranoid about having people sit in the office. For one, right? Yeah, there are times when you need to be in the office, but there are other times when you don't need to be in the office, but you're still productive. Now that is a very difficult concept of it, Nurul and everyone, right? How do we know it's difficult? Because many organizations, including the big American banks like JP Morgan, have all instructed 100% work from office already. Again, that means never learn, isn't it? It's the stubbornness of the leaders, right? These organizations, to me, right, they do not believe in diversity and inclusivity, in spite of if they mention that they are believers of diversity and inclusivity. Because diversity and inclusivity, right, is not just gender, right? It's also work preference, right? And understanding that people are different. Okay, what did we learn? The largest, if you like, the largest test and the world undertook is the lockdown. One of the findings is we know, and in Maybank, for example, we know that about 5,000 people, which is a true number, is a real number. 5,000 people in Maybank is now officially approved to be mobile workforce. We call them mobile workforce. I'm one of them, which means that I have discovered, I already knew actually, that I can work anytime, anywhere. And I'll be giving 200%, right? If you want 100%, I'll give you 200%, okay? But you don't have to tie me to my desk, okay? However, we also found out that there are another 5,000 who cannot work from home, okay? They don't like it. They like structure. Then they come to the office. That is diversity and inclusivity, right? So people who insist on no, everybody come back, to me have not learned, right? And is paranoid about governance of the old way, and yet not productive for themselves and for the individuals. Well, I can't say that JP Morgan is not productive, but you know, they may have opportunity losses, right? They may be punching below their weight, and their weight, of course, is super heavy weight, right? But you know, I think they could be punching below their weight because they have restricted and you know, and not liberalized. Whilst just now when I described the changes between 2020 and 2023, most of that is about liberating, right? And making sure that whatever opportunities are there and can go faster, right? Not everybody pull back to a minimum level of consistency. Okay, I hope that helps a bit, Nurul.
All right, thank you so much, Datuk, for the sharing on how to embrace the idea of becoming a future leader. Just maybe additional personal question from the answer, Datuk. Just now you are mentioning about different governance ways in governing and also supervising the employees. So what do you think about the idea of customizing the ways to govern or to lead people? Do the leaders have to customize each of their employees how they lead the employees, or they have to just stick to one style of leadership?
Very important question. Thank you, Daniel. Afid, because Afid Daniel. Because, you know, that is another feature of current and future. If you want to be future leaders, come on, right? Hyper personalization. Okay, hyper personalization is not only limited to tech people and data people, right? Because again, data and technology is just a means to an end. So the end is also hyper personalized, right? So I think you may have heard, all of you, right? In banking, we are saying, remember in 2008, the global economic crisis, it was because, you know, of greed, and so forth. One of the contributing factors is product pushing. So the whole financial industry went through an improvement process, right? After that, right? And it became more responsible. You cannot product push, right? So hyper personalization is an outcome and a feature of current and future times. Yeah, that means you and I, we are different. Okay, we are similar in some ways, we hold the same values, right? But we are different. Okay, and yes, management style has to be personalized, hyper personalized. Like I mentioned, that does not mean values also hyper personalized. No, right? There are horizontals. The horizontal is what we all believe in, what we all are passionate in, what we all respect. Okay, that one horizontal. But on top of that are individuals, verticals. Okay, those you need hyper-personalization. All right. One size doesn't fit all. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much for the clarification. I learned a new thing, which is the hyper personalization. So maybe me and also the audience here in Zoom and also YouTube can adapt to that. Maybe we are future leaders on the hyper personalization. It's very important for us to govern and also to oversee the employees and also our colleague. That all right. So just few comments here. Madam Azari say just now that you were saying about paranoid people in office. They also can save a lot of company utility bills. Yeah, is correct, Azari. And okay, so we have another question, Dato. See here from Brother Omar Roslan Zainabidin. We are shifting towards women empowerment in holding strategic position of an organization. All right, so and as an expert for this, Dato. So his query is whether this direction is based on equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity. So he asked your comment on this.
Wow, Roslan. Again, your question says a lot about you. It'd be interesting to find out more about it. But yeah, absolutely. It is both access as well as outcome, Roslan, right? We can't deny, right? We can't deny that there are societal norms, right? Now, I'm not a women's liberation person, right? I'm not, right? I, of course, recognize that men and women are different, right? But women must have access, right? Access to the right things and the ability to influence the outcome. That's what it means, right? For me and for, I think, what responsible women empowerment advocates would believe in. I still see microaggressions, which shouldn't be the case. Yeah, it's not healthy because microaggressions is actually disrespectful, right? So I'm sure, Roslan, when you ask, I'm sure there are wonderful women in your life, right? It could be your mom, your sister, if you're married, your wife, right? And so forth, right? You don't want them to have to go through microaggressions, being disrespected, right? So that's what we mean. Right? That's what I mean when I become a sponsor for Women Council. Yeah, it's about access. But you're right. Just access, no direct influence on outcome is not healthy. So it's about outcome as well. I think that's the short answer I can give. Like I said, it's a very interesting question that Roslan has asked.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for your response on that, Dato. So yeah, we can have to balance between the opportunity and also the outcomes, not just on women empowerment, youth empowerment, also the equality of employment actually in the organization itself. Right, so we are welcoming more questions actually from the audience. So while we are waiting for the questions, Dato, we can proceed to the next question from me. Okay. So maybe, yes, Dato.
Sorry, no, I just wanted to qualify just now for Roslan and for everybody. I changed from opportunity to access.
Yeah.
It's by design. Right?
I see.
Because opportunity, by virtue of the word opportunity, it requires someone to create the opportunity. Okay, which can be a bit hard, also, and also it is too dependent on others. I'm a believer of giving independence. Independence is dignity, giving people dignity. That's why I use access, right? Women don't need to, be given opportunities that are special that men don't have. Not really. So I say access. With access, there will be opportunities. That's why I choose the word access to replace opportunity in replying the question. But the question, of course, is right. Sorry, Afid.
All right, understood. All right, thank you so much for the clarification, Datuk. So yeah, it is actually an access and outcome on the balance of embracing the empowerment through the specific groups. All right. So regarding the inclusivity of the groups that you have already talked about just now, Datuk, we have another questions from Dr. Izzat actually. So Dr. Izzat touching about inclusivity. Would you mind to share on Maybank's actions toward the members of the people with disability or PWD? And because we heard so many organizations making policies regarding this PWD, but yet the action and also the implementation saying the other way around. Yeah, maybe want to know how Maybank handle or maybe the ideas of this PWD.
Thank you, Dr. Izzat. No, I hope action speaks louder than words. Yeah, inshallah. If you, all of you, right? If you look at my posts, right, in social media, I do that not for self, promotion, but I do that for the organization, for Maybank, and because Maybank has a responsibility. Leaders, you have a responsibility, because leaders, you have influence, right? You better use your influence properly, right? You have to use your influence because that is, something you have, that is a privilege that others don't have. But you must translate that privilege into positive impact to people. So that's why, right? If people are wondering why am I active? Not as active as the influencers and all that, yeah. But I do post because to me it is amanah. It is my responsibility, right? I have a platform. Maybank has a platform. Maybank has a circle of influence. So what influence are we giving, right? So that's important. So if you look at one of my posts, I think it was yesterday, because we had I make sure. So to answer that first part, we are already in our fifth intake of PWDs into Maybank, right? But that's not the only thing. So that's, when we say DEI, that is diversity and a bit of inclusivity, but equitability, but inclusivity is harder. So I want to make sure it's not just nice numbers. Oh yes, we hire, but I want to make sure that they are doing well. That's the harder part, right? And like I said to them yesterday, so I have checkpoint. Because of that, I meet them, as they spend 6 months, and then inshallah, after that, 1 year and so forth, I will check and touch base with them. Now, because I don't know as well, right? It's quite new. As Dr. Izzat said, most organizations either are still talking or have just started, right? It's not easy, right? Look at women, right? Women diversity, how many centuries, how many decades, right? People are still learning how to. So we're learning. I'll be lying if I say, oh, I definitely know how to, right, manage this. I'm learning, right? But I told them, I said, you cannot be disadvantaged in that sense from access, from if you are good. And I told them, I said, I'm giving you a challenge. I want to see who's the first one who equal opportunity, because we cannot give special treatment, but you got the job, a higher graded job, right? Because you are good, because of your contribution. Now I'm looking for that, because I want to make sure they can progress up, right? Now we have a PWD in top management, we do, but he did not grow from bottom lah. So that's the difference, right? So we do, but then we hired him, right, from external, already very senior. I want from the entry level, the people that we are taking now, I want to make sure they can progress. So that's where we are, right? We are committed. We want to make sure that it's assimilation, real assimilation, and It is very hard. It's very hard because yesterday also in the group we had one which is he's deaf. Okay. So we all were learning. We clap and oh no, we cannot clap. Dia tak dengar. He cannot hear. So this we are supposed to do this. Which is then he understand we are clapping. So things like this we have to learn, right? Okay.
Thank you so much for your sharing, Datuk. So maybe we hope that more and more organizations and also companies well aware on this and giving opportunities to these groups and so on. Yeah, right. So another question here from the audience with Senor Ashikin. In the context of aspiring to become a future-ready leader, Dato', how can a company, under the principle of transformational leadership, ensure a more inclusive and equitable approach to opportunities, considering that not all individuals are provided equal chances to their diverse direction and leadership choices?
Yeah. Okay, that also requires a very, at least a few hours, but Dr. Norshikin, but yeah, you're right, it's a very important aspect of the discussion. So a very quick answer, example, I'll give example as a quick answer. We put in place now more than 10 years already in Maybank, okay? It is compulsory that every vacancy except for exco and sensitive jobs, right? Not very many, of course, but all vacancies otherwise must be advertised. Now, why is that important? It gives visibility, transparency. Okay, equal opportunity is then individuals can see, oh, okay, this is vacant, but this is what the position requires, right? Person A says, I've got it. Now I'm going to apply. Person B says, oh no, I don't have this one. Then take accountability to make sure that you get that so that the next time there's a vacancy, you can apply, right? So it's empowerment, right? It's giving dignity as well. It's transparency, it's equal opportunity. But, that's why when I say that transforming the SOP, the process, the policy, it's not easy, right? Just by doing that, in 2009, when we first released this policy, nobody applied. Because before this, there was no policy and people don't apply, right? They just wait. They just wait to be noticed and given the opportunity, right? That is dangerous, yeah, because that one, it depends on who you know, right? And it can create wrong behaviors, right? And wrong perceptions, right? So even if you have good intention, people think you're biased, right? People think you have a special relationship or whatever. So there's a lot of not so nice things if you don't have the right policy made formalized. Now that's one, nobody applied. So we had to work towards making sure that we set the stage right for people to apply. But in doing that, we discovered that it's managers who also stop people from applying. So let's say Afiq reports to me, right? If I know that Afiq wants to apply, if I'm not very supportive and I'm not very future ready, right? I will say, what's wrong with me? Why is it that Afiq want to leave me? Isn't it? Number one. Number two, right? You are going to be disloyal to me. People are going to say, that. So there's, all sorts of, and then we saw that is data, right? We have evidence at that time, right? That people stay. The Afiq said, so I stay because I don't want to embarrass my manager. And everybody then just stay where they are. Okay? So and they are afraid. They are afraid to ask the manager. So the policy we quickly revised within a few months because we understood this problem, right? We say that for Afiq to apply, no need to ask my permission, the manager's permission to apply. But if the organization shortlist Afiq and say, okay, come for interview, then must inform me as well together. Still, I cannot stop, but I will be informed. That is respect because I'm the manager. But I cannot stop. So Afiq then goes for the interview. So we did that as well. We did have that problem, right? That either managers do not want to sign off to support, or the staff himself or herself feels like he's being disloyal or disrespectful, right? If he or she applies. So, that's an example, I hope, Dr. Nora Shikib, that can show you that we're not just talk. So those are our beliefs, yes, right? And these are examples of how we make sure that the actions are there. Most welcome. Thank you, Dr. Nora.
All right, thank you so much, Datuk, for your explanation on how to actually ensure more inclusivity and also equitable approach to opportunities to the organization itself. So it gives the autonomy and also the opportunity to the employees to grow well in some organization itself. Datuk. And Datuk, we seen that we will towards the end of our talk today, for today. So maybe 2 hours is actually might be not enough for us. So, but yeah, I know with your tight schedule, we are honored actually to have you, Datuk, with us today. Even though this is just a short period of time, and just maybe to wrap up, Datuk, maybe what is your advice do you have for these aspiring leaders we have here in our Zoom meeting, our YouTube live, and also everyone who are watching this to become the future ready and also the timeless leaders? On you, Datuk.
Okay, Afiq. Again, there's so much to talk about, but I think one of my most important requests, okay, for everybody, okay, is even if just one of the points or aspects that we talked about in the last 2 hours, okay, resonates with you, right? Feels important to you. Then my request is be actively pursuing and advocating it, okay, in your own circle of influence, okay? Because there is, again, the tendency of waiting for others to do it, right? Waiting for others to do something. We will be stuck, right? We will not be able to progress, number one. Number two, if all of us are not doing it, right, not actively advocating it, then those who try, unfortunately, may give up, okay? Because it's very hard, right? If, let's say, I'm the only one doing it, right? Then you look around and nobody's supporting you. Okay, that's the third thing. Support each other. That's, again, not a very natural thing. Remember just now, I did give an example, right? So if Afiq is trying something, right? Trying something that we talked about just now. All of us, me, if I am in his WhatsApp group or I bump into him in the campus, right? We are supposed to encourage him, okay? Not sit there and say, remember I said just now, let's see how long he lasts, okay? Or let's see when he makes a mistake, right? And then I go, see, I told you so. I told you it's hard, okay? So we shouldn't be that way, right? So we must be each other's support and provide each other air cover. So actively, without Afiq being asked, if I see him trying something different, I will be ready to jump in to support, even if he doesn't ask. Wow, Alhamdulillah. If that is our environment, right, we will all be able to make a real difference to the differences that needs to happen in the world, right? There are too many critiques, right, who just critique. And then there are also many, not too many, because that one is good, but many cheerleaders, okay? So you cheer, but then you don't go in and help, right? So that also is insufficient, is inadequate. So that's my request, Afiq. I want to finish with a request because there's just so much to be done. Okay, it can be really lonely for people who try to make it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Datuk, for the advice. I can maybe summarize to 3 points that have been advised by Dato' just now, which is actively pursuing, advocating, and also supporting each other. That's the three main things that have to be done by the aspiring leaders to become future ready and also timeless leaders. So maybe Dato', this is the last one. Maybe in the audience here, maybe how to connect with you, Dato', and maybe some last word from you to conclude this session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. No, I welcome anyone who wants to get an idea or a viewpoint or even a cheer from me. Okay, because it's very important for me to know, there are people doing things, right? So I welcome. Please don't hesitate, right? I can give my phone number, which is not a problem because it's a Maybank number anyway, right? Maybe Verinda can help me type in now, or I can, give it to Afiq later. Anybody who wants to WhatsApp me, no problem at all, inshallah. In fact, it's faster for me, WhatsApp than email. Email can be a bit slow. But also feel free to comment when I post anything, right? I will be also able to connect with you from there, right? And then move to WhatsApp perhaps, right? But please, Verinda has typed in the contact number. Don't hesitate. Like I said, it can be really lonely, okay, when you want to try something different. And I'll be happy to give you some ideas and views. Okay, inshallah.
Much once again to Prof. Dr. Nora A. Manaf, the Group Chief Human Capital Officer of Maybank, for the wonderful, inspiring insights and sharing session throughout these 2 hours with Dato'. And I believe that all of the audience here, we have over 70 participants in this Zoom session, and also nearly 300 viewers actually in our YouTube channel, Dato'. So maybe we can that also the live session is also can be repeated, can be replayed. So maybe it can benefit as much as people that will join and also to watch this session. And thank you so much once again, Dato', for your willingness to share with us despite your tight schedule, still with us right now. And we hope that we can have this session more maybe in the future, inshallah. All right, so for the viewers, for the IIM community in the Zoom live and also the YouTube live, don't forget to fill in your evaluation form, which have been put in the chat box. And also don't forget to log in into your IIM account to fill in the evaluation form. And any feedback, we are welcome. And we are also welcome all IIM communities to join our program, also to subscribe our YouTube channel to have more content on this. So once again, thank you so much, Dato'. Thank you so much for your willingness here, and also all of the audience in Zoom and also the YouTube. For the Zoom session, Dato', we will have a photography session first before we end. So please, who have access to their cameras, can open their camera, right? Have give you a big smile, and and we'll capture your side. Okay, sure. Okay, smile. Okay, one. Okay. There's more. Yeah, there's more opening your cameras.
Good.
Okay. All right. Okay, there's more. All right, sure. Okay, okay. Okay, another one. Okay. Hey, is there anyone want to open their cameras? Okay, I think that's it. Okay, this is the first round. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. All right. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Prof. Dr. Nora Imanaf, the Group Chief Human Capital Officer of Maybank, for her willingness to share about us on the topic, special engagement with HR expert becoming future ready leaders, and also to all audience here in the Zoom meeting and also the YouTube live. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to join us in the next session, inshallah. Right, thank you so much for it. So that's all from me, Afidana Ahmed. And we apologize for that any inconvenience caused. So any feedback, we are welcome to it. And that's all from me. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.